afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well. Can I just say, Emmy, please check your junk mail because I haven't sent you reading yet, but I've got a funny feeling it's on its way into there because you didn't reply to your first one. So please check if you don't mind. Today's reading is going to be your karma in 2021. So I'm looking at the way that you express your emotions in some way because I think it's our emotions that bring us back time after time after time. I often think that you get ghosts or situations where there are spirits and they're normally bound to some area or something to do with some emotional bond or binding or something like that. So I think that we come back life after life and it's all got to do with our emotions. So I'm going to look at your life or some inklings into your life over the year ahead and see what's bringing you back and whether it's positive or negative. Either way, if you have an emotion, you're coming back. Right, okay, so you've got pile number 1, pile number 2 and pile number 3.
La música de Harry Fraud.
Right, okay, to me this is quite simple. Pile number 1, you are somebody I think who expresses yourself freely. You're somebody who wears your heart on your sleeve. You're somebody who expects equality in relationships and you give out and you expect the same back and you give out very easily, and I don't mean that in the wrong way. You're just somebody who's expansive, expressive and kind and adventurous and just a fun person to be with. I think that you have some anxiety about a particular person at the moment, probably a male figure or somebody who comes across as quite established, possibly just has that sort of, I'm going to say adult feel about it. That sort of, that's the wrong word. That sort of, they're in charge of themselves. They're probably very established in their life. They probably have a good income or that they have made their way in what they deem as in a successful manner. And I think that you give quite easily, and I think this person is a little bit more controlled than you. You've put a lot of thought, you've put a lot of, you've worked hard on yourself. You've got the Hermit card here, and you've got the King of Cups here. So this is your situation surrounding, and this is the behind. So I think this is you, whether you're male or female. There's a lot of reflection, there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of trying to work out your emotions. So you're working really hard on yourself with regards to this situation. And I don't think you need to work that hard on yourself. I think that you basically have it sussed already. I think your person is a little bit more controlled, a little bit cooler than you. There's a lot of watching and waiting, or there has been a lot of watching or waiting. I wonder whether you think the relationship has basically wrapped itself up. And I'm assuming this is a relationship. It doesn't have to be. It could be like a family member or just somebody that you know who is possibly older than you, but is definitely more in control of the way that they live their life. So I'm guessing with regards to the introduction that I just did about coming back because we have emotions and that's what binds us to situations. That's why we keep coming back and back, but that's what makes life fun. You are somebody who lives your life in a very sort of exuberant and easygoing and easy loving way. And this person is more controlled. And it's almost like a throw up between, you can't have a dry life, but you mustn't have with regards to your expectations. You must give out freely because you do it so well and don't expect anything back, because at the moment I think there's anxiety that you shouldn't have with regards to a certain person. You are somebody who's a giver. You're somebody that's given out practically and emotionally to this person, and you've almost as if you're on your back foot going back over a relationship or a situation or a scenario that you've had with this person. You're trying to figure it out. I don't think your person is doing the hard work. I think you're doing all the thinking and the reflecting, and they're doing a lot of nothing, to be honest. It makes me think of somebody who's quite earthy, who isn't moved emotionally very easily. Somebody who basically runs on their adrenals rather than a thyroid type of person. They're not nervous, they're very controlled, they don't, it's not the type of person that nips into a conversation and cuts you off. It's somebody who waits till you've finished. Imagine that. I wonder whether they're not giving you the comeback that you're expecting, because for the situation surrounding, you've got the Seven of Cups, which is somebody with regards to emotion is choosing. So I think you're looking at this person, and because you approach life in such a wholehearted fashion, you're expecting this person to come back to you in that way, because we basically expect a reflection of ourselves, because that's what we know so well. And this person is being quite cool, and it's throwing you off a bit. And your advice is to stay with it. You've got the Queen of Cups at the end, the Queen of Wands, sorry. And you've got the Fool for you. You've got the Two of Cups. You've got the Sun and the Ascendant. So I'm assuming you are somebody who throws themselves into situations, the type of people that you're the type of person that people gravitate towards, because you make life exciting. You give freely. You're expansive and you're warm. And it's telling you to carry on being that. Even if your person is cooler than you, and we do come back lifetime after lifetime, it's our expectations that bring us back, not so much on how we express it, I assume. If you're expressing yourself, and it's not an emotion, it's when the emotion gets slightly distorted and you're trying to pull somebody towards you who's just cooler than you. You just let them be who they are, because you are perfect just the way you are. And if this person is indecisive, just let them carry on like that. You've got it sussed. Don't change a thing about you. Somebody that really gives out freely. Let's have a little sniff of this King of Pentacles person here. Oh my God. They need to basically be looking at you for lessons, not vice versa. I think that you're probably a little bit more intuitive than this person. I think you're a little bit more reflective with the Hermit card here. So I think that you're thinking it's you that's got to change. You're looking at this person because they're more staid and more solid. So you think, well, they must be more magnetic and they must be right, when actually, no, it's you. You're right, and this person needs to learn from you. Don't you change a thing. You're giving. You've got six of Pentacles for you. For the situation surrounding you, you've got somebody who's indecisive emotionally. This person needs to learn from you how to give. And that's your karma for next year, with regard to this person or this situation, which is very staid and very stable, and I think it's a person, it's not for you to be anxious, because you're perfect exactly the way that you are. You've worked on yourself, you've worked out who you are, you've looked inwardly, and you're still working on yourself, which is fantastic. This person needs to learn from you. Don't you change a thing. Give out, be yourself, and let them learn how to be like you, because I think this person is probably somebody who's quite envious but doesn't even know it themselves. Envious of who you are. I don't think there's any much more to say there. That's quite straightforward and simple to me. It's quite an easy read for me, because it just says it as it is. It just is somebody who's cooler than you, more controlled than you, and you are just the bee's knees. So I'm going to finish there, part one. So next year, if there is somebody around you who fits the bill with this description, then you just express yourself as you have been already. Because these qualities are really enviable qualities, and it's what people strive for lifetimes to get to. Just hold on to it and just be that. Right, I'm going to finish there, part one. Good luck. Hopefully a good year ahead for you. I'll see you again. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. Let's have a look at you with regards to your karma for 2021. Pile number 2, I am going to say from the beginning, it makes me feel of a relationship that hasn't got off the ground or isn't getting off the ground, and it's causing you some sort of concern with regards to your self-esteem in some way, and you feel restricted. I'm going to go through it bit by bit. It's straightforward but not, so I've got to basically run myself through the cards. I'll go through these first. You've got the Five of Pentacles here, which are these, I'm going to say Exmoor ponies, only because we have Exmoor ponies here, stuck on the, it's not Heathcliff, it's stuck on Exmoor. And they're just left out in the cold. It's the card where people are left out of the church and there's a stained glass window and they don't feel that they belong somewhere and they feel like they've been shut out. So in some way, in the seventh house, with regards to relationships, you feel like you're not getting your needs met. So emotionally, you're feeling like you're feeling quite vulnerable. You're feeling like you're not accepted for who you are in some way. And it makes me think it's more of a one-to-one relationship with the seventh house. You've got these cards here, Saturn, restriction, the High Priestess here. See, these cards together, I'll hide that because I don't know whether it's going to be an under 10, under 18. But it's very bullshit. High Priestess and Saturn. This is somebody who likes to, I'll show you. This is somebody with regard to Saturn here and this High Priestess card here. They don't go together. One person knows what's going on. Oh, what's that lady's name of Star Wars? Not Layla. And then the other person, one is without boundaries, the other is with boundaries. So you are somebody who I think naturally doesn't have boundaries, and that's why you're feeling like this. You're making me think of somebody that's really easy flowing, quite bohemian, and you've either met somebody and it's putting you into the energy of being something that you're not. So you're being quite restrictive with yourself. You're actually feeling slightly unloved in some way, I think. Do you know, it makes me think of somebody that's been brought up in quite a liberal household and hasn't had that many boundaries. And then it's almost as if that sort of Aquarius feel, and I know the High Priestess is in Aquarius, of you almost need boundaries because you enjoy pushing them. So you may have been attracted to somebody who's quite rigid in some way, a bit like pile number one. I don't know. Let's go through these cards and see how they fit in. Right, so okay, the Lovers behind you, the Page of Wands, makes me think that somebody you're attracted to in a relationship has either a very small start or is just basically rumbling in the background, or you feel attached to somebody and you feel like they're your one. It's something which I think is not totally concrete, like a long-term relationship. It's something that you think has promise. But at the moment, you're not feeling like you fit into this situation as yet. Either this person hasn't reciprocated your feelings or you're not sure how they feel. And there's some decision. So subconsciously here, I'm jumping ahead here. So subconsciously, you feel like you don't know what direction to go into, as if there are lots of choices. And I don't know whether it's your person has lots of choices emotionally, whether they're with somebody or whether they have different people to choose from, or whether they're just one of those people. Do you know, it makes me think of one of those people that a lot of people are attracted to. And then you've become slightly obsessed because this is you, the Queen of Swords, upset about something, and the Ten of Swords, like a situation ending. Okay. Right. The picture that's coming towards me now is somebody that's been giving you dog biscuits in some way, been giving you bits and bobs, and somebody who is very attractive and very charming, because the situation here is the Sun. So I think it's fun, it's exciting, and it makes you feel good. The person makes you feel good. I'm not saying the person is bad at all. I'm just saying how you're reacting to this situation emotionally. So I think this person has come into your life and made you feel really attracted to them. They've given you tidbits, because you've got 2 pages here. So they've given you small amounts, but it's basically, it's making you, it's made you feel a pull, and then you can't quite grasp your hands onto them as tightly as you want. And it's making you a little bit sort of overthinking, over-analysing, over-feeling, and it's not doing the best for you because it's making you feel shut out. See, you've come out as a Page of Swords here. This person or the situation surrounding is the Sun. So you feel that this person makes you feel good, which they do. or have. But you're coming across as almost being detached up here with the Five of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. Two animals on a hill feeling shut out. The Page of Swords is quite a mental card, and so it's not a romantic card. You're not actually stuck in this situation. You're still on the flipping hill and you're looking down, and the sun situation is something that's made you feel warm. So this person is like a promise. It's like a promise to you of something that's going to happen next. And I still think there's something could happen because it's coming out as the Knight of Wands. But with regards to, so this is forward moving. The Knight of Wands with the Page of Cups is still dog biscuits, but exciting dog biscuits. So you're going to go running to this situation. It's going to make you feel good. And I know it sounds like I'm going down the track of don't go there because it's not for you. I'm not. I don't actually think that. It's just a case of your lesson for 2021 is it's for your self-esteem. Because you've got Saturn, you've got the Five of Pentacles. I think you give easily in relationships, and I think you're somebody that likes to be in love. Seven of Cups is quite Neptune. It's very dreamy. The Devil is very obsessive. And this is, if you like, subconscious and conscious. And the situation has ended. So it's almost as if you've... Do you know what it makes me think? I'm trying not to say this in a bad way. If it's your karma and your emotions next year, it just makes me think of somebody who loves being in love, and it's almost as if, unless you realise that, unless you provide that feeling and that scenario and that situation of being in love with yourself, then you're never going to get enough out of this other person that you may have your tentacles out for. And this could be your lesson. And the moment that you pull back from the situation, you come out of this Devil energy, and you stop waiting for the pages, and you get the King of Cups, and then you will get the King of Wands. Somebody who not just this Knight energy. It's like you need to this person needs to come towards you, offering you everything or nothing for you to mature in yourself and feel like you're in the right situation. You don't need a restriction, because you're somebody, I think, who's got quite a rebellious edge to you with this card here, the High Priestess. Yeah, I think you are very much aware of the situations and somebody who does not need restrictions. So I think, but it makes me feel as somebody that's fallen into something that they absolutely hate because you want to be with somebody, or you're attracted to somebody, which everybody does. And it's not making you feel good, because I think you have this inkling that actually that's not what I want. I actually want somebody who is full on for me rather than bits for me. It's definitely a feeling of you having to pull back a bit next year for this person to not meet you halfway, to come more over to your side of the court. Because I think that could be their lesson as well, that they need to... I think this person has people chasing them, so I think that they need to feel that they have to come meet you more than halfway. And I think you need to stay where you are. So it makes me think that you've been with somebody but not, or it's ended. And now you're basically, it's like thoughts and wondering and obsession, and you may still be in contact with this person, but it's not enough. So next year you need to stand back and not look for boundaries that somebody else is going to give you. Not look for anybody else for feedback. So next year you've got to basically just be in charge of yourself and pull people towards you rather than wondering whether they like you or what to do next. Just basically stay still, get your own interest going and be yourself, and that's what will draw people towards you. Do you know what I'm thinking? I did astrology reading, one of those ones where I sort of have to read a chart in 5 minutes. And then I don't know who, I open the card, I don't know who I'm talking about. And then I go and research it, and I become very obsessed. And I've been doing it all yesterday. And this guy, I won't tell you who it is. he went to, you probably know actually as I'm saying this, he's a celebrity, he went to Australia for a year because he wanted to get into Hollywood and to get an agent, and he wanted it so badly that his friends said, you want it too much, they're going to read it on your face. And so he went to Australia for a year, and he thought he was going to Sydney and it was going to be really exciting and be out partying every night. And in fact, it was like, 100 miles out of Sydney, and it wasn't a ranch, but I have an image of him being on a ranch. And he had to go inside himself so much, and he was quite Aquarius, so he quite enjoyed this, that by the time he came out and he went back to his interview for an agent, which he did eventually go, it was like almost like the week after he came back or something, he was still in that sort of mode of energy of just being really sort of self-assured and not caring that much. And it was basically when his career started taking off. This makes me think of that pile. It's almost as if you have to do something totally different, not in a negative way. And I'm not saying that, you need to do anything else and be who you are, but you definitely need to let this person come towards you. So go and do something totally different, and your whole energy will shift over next year. And there won't be I'm assuming, as we were talking about emotions at the beginning, your emotions are wondering where you fit in and whether this person likes you. And that's the bit you need to cut out, really. I'm looking at the word bullshit up here. That's the bit that you need to cut out, because you need to know who you are and stand there and let this person gravitate towards you. Not in a grovelling way, because two wrongs don't make a right. It's basically in a way that this is me, accept me as I am, and I'm here if you want me, that sort of way. So nice pile, good luck with that. So less thinking and more being yourself. Right, pile number 2, I'm going to stop there. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Let's have a look at your karma for next year. What you need to do or don't need to do, and you're absolutely perfect just the way you are. Right, okay, pile number 3, really interesting spread here, and I'm just going to say it without even going through it bit by bit, because I don't feel I want to at the moment, because I can understand it. Sometimes I have to trick my way through it, but this makes me think of somebody who is in their own power and who communicates for a living in some way, who's very expressive in the way that they get their point across, and that may be the way that you earn your money. I do feel that there's money and there's communication, there's passion in the way that you communicate, or there's something to do with a higher mind, because you have got the Wheel of Fortune here, which is Jupiter, and your pile starts with the 8 of Wands, which is communicating with regards to Sagittarius. So it's higher thoughts, it's expressive, but it's in a way that is not like mundane gossip. It's something that's bigger than that. And then you've got the Princess of Pentacles crossing this, which is something to do with how you earn your money. And with the Queen of Pentacles here, I just feel a real established feeling of the way how you come across. And I wonder whether it's something you've already started and that you do actually use your expression and your voice to earn your money. Or if you don't, then you should be. Because the 12th house here in the world is like the end of a cycle. The 12th house is the last house in the astrology chart, or in or anybody's astrology chart. And the world is the last card in the tarot pack. So it's almost like the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle, and it's to do with communicating confidently. I think that you already have whatever we're talking about in the bag, as in you've started it and it's running well, because you've got the Ace of Wands behind you and you have the Magician in front of you. So I think you know what you're doing, you're quite adept at it, and it feels good to you already. Subconsciously though, you've got the 5 of Wands, so there is a bit of angst with something, or there's a bit of frustration, and sometimes you don't really feel that you've got it sussed completely, even though you are coming across as the Queen of Pentacles here. The 3 of Cups here makes me think of celebration. It makes me feel of somebody who's really successful in what they do, and they express themselves freely and they do a really good job of it. The Magician is somebody who has worked on themselves so much that everything comes out with ease. And it's not just the way that you express yourself, it's the way that you basically, it's basically all the suits in there. It's the way that you are emotionally, it's the way that you gain your money, and it's the way that you communicate. It's just all of it all together, and you've just got that sussed. Really good pile here. I think that you're quite stable with who you are at the moment. So this pile makes me think of somebody of the next year who is building on something they've already started. And the Wheel of Fortune makes me think that it's going to go really well. Five of Cups with this card in particular for the hopes and fears is something to do with the past, and because this girl is actually, she's got the camera in front of her, and it makes me think of a picture that's already been taken. And the Ace of Wands in the past is something you've already started. Right, I do think that you have, and I'm not going to say something up your sleeve because it has been up your sleeve and it's out of your sleeve, and you're doing a really good job, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's like a time of celebration. You know you've done a good job, and you know you're using all your skills in the correct way, because you've basically gone through the whole cycle, and now you've actually come out with this being self-assured in who you are and how you come across, how you communicate. Communication is important here. So with regards to 2021, your cards end in all this fantasticness, and then you've got the Four of Cups and strength. So it's almost as if other people's opinions don't matter. The Four of Pentacles makes me think, with all these cards here and the communication here, with the Eight of Wands down here, and the Mercury card up here, makes me think that you somehow communicate for a living, because I'm only saying a living because you've got the Prince of Pentacles with the money here. If it's not a living, you communicate. And yeah, you talk to people, or you express yourself in some way that makes you feel good. But I think that your lesson of the next year is to do it without thinking of any comeback, payback, or being assured in some way that you're doing it correctly. With the Magician card here, it's something you know you're doing correctly, and never to look out for other people. The Magician, the Strength, is something are in a knowing, and you know that you've got the skills, you know you've done a good job, you know it's rolling or okay. And that's enough for you, and that should be enough for you. So if that was some sort of lesson that you're going to have over the next year, it's basically to stop wondering what other people think. If you do a little bit, then you need to stop it totally. Because you've got a load of good cards here. The Wheel of Fortune situation surrounding is basically, as we were talking about calm introduction, you're on a roll. The Magician and the Wheel of Fortune, you're on a roll, and it's got something to do with, see the World card here. It makes me think of somebody that communicates in a wider sense to other people. With the World card here on the 12th house, so it could be something quite inward looking. So it could be something quite esoteric in some way, the way that you communicate, I don't know. But it's begun, and 99% of the time it's going really well. And your only lesson here, to be honest, there aren't that many lessons in this last pile. It's quite a, it's a nice pile of just saying, well done, you're on the right track, keep going with it, but don't ever think that you need to please anybody. Your lesson is to express yourself and not to expect anything back. You know, there's not much more to say there. When I kept saying about you actually earning your living through this, or there's some sort of financial investment with regards to you, the way that you communicate, it doesn't have to be, because you have got the Queen of Pentacles here. So I just wonder whether you are, you could be a more practical person. The way that you do it just fits into your life in a way that you need it to fit into your life. That didn't make much sense there. This makes me think of practical. It makes me think of growth, because you've gone from the Princess of Pentacles and then you've got the Queen of Pentacles here. Yeah, and I think with growth, with regards to it being more grounded and knowing who you are, if it isn't the case that you earn money through the way that you communicate. Right, I'm going to finish there, pile number through here because I don't think there's anything I need to say. So to sum it up, your lesson for next year is to carry on doing exactly what you're doing because you're on the right track. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. But just to know that you are on the right track, you're doing exactly the right thing, and you don't need anything back from anybody because this is all about you. Even if you're providing a service, it's all about you and the way that you are basically being who you're meant to be. Right, pile number 3. I'm going to finish it there. Rather unusual pile. But interesting. I just didn't feel that going through the cards bit by bit was going to help because it was quite obvious to me. Because all these cards are really good and shining on the right track. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. The end card ends up with a negative, which to me is a negative of basically feeling like you need to be watered. And then you've got the Strength card here. So no, you don't need to be watered. It's inside you already. Okay. Pile number 3. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that helps and I hope to see you again. Bye.